Hello everyone, it's James from Keeping It Anime, and today we'll be discussing episode 100 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, entitled A Twisted Utopia. Now, this episode actually has a fair amount to talk about with. We have the duel, we have a team up, and we have some more information on the Link 5 monster and the Neuron Link. So we'll start with the duel, because the duel's not a lot to talk about in that regard. But basically, the duel continues between Playmaker and Bohman. Fine, we knew it would do. And then we do also find out that Bohman can activate his Master Storm Access on anybody's turn. And he can also activate his Link 5 monster's ability on anybody's turn. Playmaker basically ends his turn, Bohman has his turn, tries to do a lot of things, then Playmaker has a turn, summons out Cyber's Clock Dragon, the fusion monster, gets a lot of attack points, and then the duel is cut off. That, what I've just said now, stretches out pretty much the entirety of the episode. So that is all the dueling action that we have, and Playmaker getting more attack points is basically the end cliffhanger. So what do we have to talk about in between all that? So, like I said, Bohman's Link 5 monster, his effects can activate on any turn. Now that effect is that by using one counter on this monster, you can switch out depending for any attribute that you roll on a dice. Let me rephrase that. Start again. Okay, so take off one counter off of Bohman's Link 5 monster and roll a dice. Depending on the attribute that you roll, you can then summon a drag head monster, which is the same attribute as the attribute on the dice that you rolled. Okay, so this does raise a couple of things. Did Bohman have these drag head cards before the duel? Because if he was going around having a deck with cards that he wouldn't be able to use in, that would be pretty pointless. However, before using both of these cards, we see Bohman use Master Storm Access, which randomly adds a card into his hand from the data storm. So are we led to believe that A, he had the cards originally beforehand, so whatever he rolls on the dice in terms of attribute, he can use any of them? Or do we have to go with the route that he got these cards from the data storm, and say for example he pulled the Aqua's card like he did, and he rolled a wind attribute, he wouldn't be able to use it. Now, both scenarios have their flaws, but let's say, for example, that he didn't have these cards beforehand. So he rolled the so he did the Storm Access. He grabbed the card, and then he rolled the dice, and every time he got the dice correctly. So he rolled the Aquas, and he got the Aqua's card, and he rolled the Aquas. He rolled the flame and he got the flame. This would basically make him cheating again on so many levels. And we know that he had dumb luck / cheating luck almost when he fought Soulburner, but this has taken it to the next level. Plus, the drag heads that we've been introduced to so far, the Aqua's one is called Aqua, which her ability, or its ability, don't want to misgender the dragon there, can basically negate the effect of any monster that it's not co-linked with. This is how he gets around Quantum Dragon's bounce back ability. So he predicted Yusaku / Playmaker to summon Quantum Dragon. Then the second one we're introduced to is called Flame. This is the fire attribute drag head. Now, if a monster isn't co-linked with this one, it can destroy those monsters on the field. So this would have worked in the duel by destroying Quantum. However, Yusaku manages to use an effect from the graveyard and save his monster, only resulting in some battle damage, which kept him in the duel. Now, if you ask me, the name's so far been in poor taste, but I can see why they're doing it and what they're trying to represent. Even I calls Bohman out for using his friends like that. But yeah, like I said, it does raise a few questions as to whether or not he already had these cards, or if he's randomly pulling them out of the data storm. That would be, if that's the case, him doing that with the data storm would be like YUGIOH doing that with action cards. Like, it would be ridiculous. And another thing that confused me slightly about this sort of ordeal with the drag heads and the main Link 5 body was, does the main Link 5 body card go back to the extra deck while these drag heads get put onto the field? Because due to Bohman's text that he states, after his turn, or the turn has ended, the drag head then goes back to the extra deck, and then the other main body comes out and you can put another counter on. So he's constantly having that repeated counter added, so he can constantly do the skills. Now, we weren't shown it on the board, but I'm pretty sure they do get swapped out. But I would just like a bit of clarification on that. Okay, so let's talk about the Neuron Link for quickly, and then we'll go into the team up, because it'll be a nice follow-on. So, the Neuron Link is basically, as we know, collecting the brains and the collective minds of everybody that it zaps. But it turns out that it's actually collecting based on individual people's ID numbers. So the fact that Aizen and Emma are in this room doesn't keep them safe, because the whole visual effect of the light zapping them through the brain is actually nothing. It's not actually happening as such. It's basically like just for our visual effect as the viewer. Aizen states that he's on a admin account, so it means he should be safe for a while. But that begs the question, is Ghost Girl okay? Because Ghost Girl / Emma, she could get zapped any minute. I don't know. But we then have the team up. So the Knights of Hanoi are working their way through the code and Link Vrains, trying to find a way to help out Playmaker by stopping Bohman and his Neuron Link. They find out the only way to take out the Neuron Link is to basically attack it while it's accumulating all this mass data. So basically, when Bohman uses his master Dorm access, that's the tiny window they have to attack it. So how do the Knights of Hanoi tackle this? Well, they decide to actually contact Emma and Akira. They're basically saying, look, we need your help for this. And although Ghost Girl is actually on board with it straight away, Aizen has his doubts. And it's understandable, but I'm hoping that Aizen puts the past behind him and helps out the Knights of Hanoi in the best way that he can. Because I can see a situation where Ghost Girl basically gets zapped and she's saying, do it for Aoi at the end, so it motivates and spurs Akira on to finish off, you know, the destruction of this Neuron Link. But that'll be something to look forward to in the future. Now there's one thing I do want to talk about, and it's something I said I think at the beginning of this video. The humans in this universe are dumb. The Yu-Gi-Oh world has dumb human beings, and I can't blame Bohman for doing what he's doing when you have people doing this. So we get told that the news about Link Vrains has reached a global sort of standing. It's on the news and everyone's stating it and panicking. Brave Max is down. That's how much, that's how dire the situation is. Brave Max has been taken down. And people that aren't in Vrains at the moment go, Oh really? Is this happening? I guess I'm going to log into Vrains and have a look and see for myself. So they log into Link Vrains, find it knowing they can't log out, knowing that people are dying. And they go in and go, oh, it's true. And then when they're about to get zapped, they freak out and start saying, why can't I log out? Why can't I log out? Are you really that stupid? Like, honestly. Anyway, we find out that that's how the neuron link is constantly, you know, being able to function and carry on. It's because people are constantly logging in. Fine, they're all idiots. And then we have some good old main character, protagonist, characterization, development. So Playmaker states that Bohman is probably just lonely. He's a lonely character because he's trying to bring everybody into himself, Bohman, so that he can correct the path of humans and lead them to the right path by making himself the solitary being that exists. Now, that does lead to the question of, is there going to be loads of dead bodies on the street? But we'll get to that when it comes. Now, Playmaker states that when he was in season 1 of this show, pretty much, so after the Lost Incident, when he could finally get into Vrains, he was hell-bent on revenge. This drove him in everything that he did, causing him to be a lonely person. As we saw, he didn't consider Aoi, Soulburner, Akira, Ghost Girl. I'm not going to say Naoki because I don't think he sees Naoki as a friend. Revolver. He didn't see them as a friend, but now he does. So he's starting to find the good old friendship trope. And this slight development, even though it's only a small amount of development, we're still getting it. And for Playmaker's personality and character, any development is good really, because he's such a plain, stale character at the moment that I just want him to develop a little bit more. And based on next episode preview, we might get that. Because it looks like something big is going to go down. So that's something really to look forward to next week. But yeah, like I said, Playmaker realises he has friends and starts having flashbacks about everyone that's in his life that he considers a friend. Sounds a nice scene that helps Playmaker sort of get the courage and spurs himself forward in order to take down Bohman, and does the play that he does to bring out Cyber's Clock Dragon. The episode does end there. So overall, this episode was pretty decent. We had some good reveals and information. Animation-wise, we had some good bits, but we also had some really bad bits. I'm not going to lie, the preview had better animation quality than most of the stuff in this episode. So that was a little bit lackluster. But apart from that, yeah, good episode. I liked last week's episode a little bit better, but this episode does have its pluses. So consider watching it if you haven't. But yeah, apart from that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, have a great day and keep it anime. Bye.